um, regroup. I wanted to talk about something because I felt like I kind of jumped into um, the different ways of conversation, and I felt like there was like this huge dead space out there. So I'm going to circle back around uh, and talk about the quiet space and why it is important. And um, because I think that it seems hard to do, and it seems like we can go in with stress sometimes, or like, I don't know why I'm going in and what am I listening for, or whatever it is. And it creates resistance. So, and then we just can't get quiet too. And that also creates resistance. So, the quiet space of going and being without asking, without creating, but going and being in our sanctuary, our holy space. Uh, why are we doing that? So we're doing that to get out of the mind being our focus of attention, because we're so used to our thoughts being front and foremost that we think that that's who we are and we don't hear anything else. And um, when in fact the mind is the mind, right? And so it's to begin to discipline and transition into getting out of the mind being the attention hog and the place from which we live, and what we're automatically listening to, and to get out of the body, our senses, right? Our hear, see, smell, feel, um, because these are all um, the package that we indwell. So we need to come into a place where we begin to take the vessel and take some authority over the vessel, and be kindly, and begin to teach the vessel to be still. And then we become aware over time. Um, we become aware of the inner flame that you are, the voice of God or higher consciousness that you are. And first and foremost, the universe speaks to each one of us individually from within. The primary source of hearing from God is from within your soul, the still small voice. We cannot hear it when we're in the whirlwind of our mind and the raging storm of our body. Excuse me, tonight I have mucus. But we have to realize that God is speaking all the time. The universe is speaking to us all the time, speaking from within. So when we begin to become quiet and we begin to seek the intimate, personal voice of God within us, it comes to think of it like a fingerprint. We have a fingerprint. Each one of us is absolutely unique. And we're not alone on the planet in this, but each one is unique. So God is going to speak to each one of us uniquely. So you are developing your own personal conversation in ways that it's going to make sense to you, that the way that the spirit speaks to you is going to be personal to you. And if you were to try to share that with somebody, they would give you the blank stare, because it's personal to you. So we've been taught to just go into these congregations and move as a group, and to listen as a group, or just not listen at all and have somebody tell us. And I'm challenging that, me and all the other mystics out there. It's personal. It's personal. The conversation is for you and you alone. And um, so, first and foremost, the universe comes to us, speaks to us from within. first with pictures, like you'll get a picture or a scene. You might resonate with you, but you just think, I don't know what that was. Visions or scenes, or like a short reel of a film. uh, dreams, dreams. And just a point on dreams, like you'll know it's a holy dream because it will resonate with your spirit. So you don't have to wake up from every pizza dream and go, oh my God, that was crazy. Was that God? No, it wasn't. Okay. Like you will know. And it's not all the time. I have had some profound dreams at pointed times in my life, and I know it. I knew it. My spirit confirmed it. So don't try to attach. If you can't remember what you dreamed when you woke up, let it go. Universe speaks to us through our thoughts and our emotions. So to talk about that for just a minute, not your thoughts and your emotions. And that's what we've been doing, is going through a process of tidying up the house, challenging our thoughts and emotions, challenging our judgments or the ways that we've been living, right? Because we didn't know any better. So when we come to a place where we're not living so much in all of that, then we begin to discern, and the thoughts and emotions that come from within, from the holy place within, there's clarity. It's clear, very, very clear. It's clear water. It has nothing to do with us. We lose space and time. So then, number two, not number one, God speaks to us from the outside, through words, other people's words, books, speech, lyrics. You'll ask a question, you'll hear one line in the song. You don't have to own the song, but the one line in the song will resonate, and you'll be like, that's what I was looking for. Thank you, right? So through nature, God speaks to us, and through experience in a couple different ways. So the Spirit takes what you have already taken in, absorbed and experienced it, and translates or infuses it with spiritual light, and life comes through it for you. Or opening us up through new experiences that are different, life experience that is different than what we're accustomed to, different than what we have settled into in our life. So first and foremost, from the inside out. Because if you think of it this way, we're spiritual offspring. The universe said, I want to experience life and living, and I'm going to just blow myself up into shards. And these shards of light are us. So we're God. We are beams of light. So we are going to hear from within, from our God self first, because that's the most intimate and the most personal, and something that resonates with me is not going to make any sense to you. So taking in data from teaching and stuff is great. I've sat through a lot of teaching. I've read a lot of books. One thought, one thing might come out of the entire week-long seminar, right? One concept. That's it, not the whole thing, right? So my my path is an individual one, such as yours. So we're not to just gobble up somebody else's path. And the conversation's for you to awaken to, because the relationship is for you. It's a personal one for you. So others, including myself, are sharing our path to encourage and make it more personal for other people. And the universe will speak to you through us, and pay attention to what resonates. And the more I learn, the more teaching I sit through, and the more books I take in, the message is the same. The messenger is different, but the message is the same. And that's a real clue, right? That's a real clue. It will make, if a message brings joy to your heart, if it brings freedom, then you know that it's resonating with your spirit, if you have a knowing about it. So the conversation is God within coming forward instead of our mind pulling from out to in. So God is experiencing human life in and through us. We have to remember that we're holy, sacred ground. We are a God life. So the mind ego wants to piece life together from the outside in, running it through what you've been taught, what you know, what you've learned, what the conglomerate is saying is right, is wrong, whatever. The mind ego wants to put your life, build a life from the outside and then pull it in. But, through, I have to work hard, I have to work at my spirituality, I have to do good things. I must do prayers, mantras, fast, sit for hours, log time in meditation, join the right movement, spend time in the right church, etc. And the source of communion is within you. And we receive from within our life and living. We don't earn it from the outside in. We are to become, we are becoming, we are being from the inside out. And out of our being, more and more in our divine light and in our God self, the out takes care of itself. It takes care of itself because there is all of the attributes of God coming to life within you and flowing out instead of trying to earn it and drag it in from the outside. So the universe doesn't need us to beg, plead, and worship. And I know this is like flies in the face of all we've been taught. The universe is all powerful. It has everything it needs. Hello. It doesn't need us to beg and plead. It needs us to grow up into the little gods that we are and begin to act like it on the face of the earth. Because we could solve all the problems out there if we elevate ourselves and join together, right? God doesn't need us to spend hours petitioning and singing and stuff. If you want to, great. I'm not saying don't do it, but don't do it because you think you're supposed to. It's a requirement from the universe, right? So we've been taught, we've created stories and ideas about God for ourselves, and the words have been written and rewritten all through time. And we've seen examples of just in the Lord's Prayer alone, how it started and how it ended up. And we've been taught to fear. And we've been taught that God or the universe is vengeful or aloof and removed, or will hurt us or punish us if we do something wrong. Good people go to heaven, bad people go to hell. So if we're all divine, there isn't any of that. And the opposite is true. The universe doesn't care what persuasion, orientation, color, or sex you are. All are God, all are from God, and all are one in God. All of the bullshit stuff is us. The spirit outside of the body doesn't care. So we're loved unconditionally, and that means that we are loved without condition. So if we're living under conditions, I have to be good, whatever good is, because somebody has to tell you what that is, and somebody has to tell you what bad is. we evolve from within, and we don't have to worry about good and bad because we are living in our God life, in our God spirit. So we're worthy because we are, because of the material that we're cut from. We are spoken to and conversed with all the time. We are surrounded by love and tenderness and unconditional love all the time. We're here to experience and be love, joy, and truth in our being. And that is a healing energy that will go out of us and make a difference to everybody. So thought comes first, emotion, thought, emotion, word, we speak the word out, we speak what we're going to do, and it becomes matter, or it becomes experience. We're doing it already. We've been learning that all along, right? So when we begin to live from our God self, thought, emotion, word become matter and experience in a really good way, in a beautiful way, in a godly way. It's not something we have to go try do to behave our way into being good, or whatever we think that is. So we become the word spoken. So I read a book, and it was talking about God was speaking and saying, for example, the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments were really 10 covenants that as the people wanted to know, how will we know we're growing in God? How will we know we're becoming our God self? And God said, thou shalt not kill. You will know because there will not be anything in you that will rise up and kill anything. You will know because you are full of compassion for all life and reverence for all life, and you will be moved from your soul. So you just will not be doing that. So you know you're growing. Thou shalt not steal. As you evolve in the power that's within you and the compassion and love within you, stealing is not stealing time, stealing money, stealing comes in a lot of categories. It just won't be happening. You know there's more than enough. Come, sit, eat, don't pay. I'll manifest enough for me and you. Like, we'll have that love and power within us that we just give. There's no need for people to do that. So they're more of a guideline of how do you know you're evolving into your God self. We took all this stuff and turned it into some list of things that bring condemnation, fear, and dread instead of life. God is all about life, all about life. And as we're growing on our path and evolving on our path, we begin to open and expand. Fear compresses and shrinks. So none of us is without, we all come into this world and we're all taught truths and things that are missing the mark. And we believe them because everyone else is believing them. There's none of us without that. So missing the mark is sin. That's what it means. When you are in archery, if you miss the mark, it's sin. Like, I'm sure you've all heard that. So no one's without missing the mark on truth. So as we evolve, so looking at original sin, so to speak, original sin definition is the first thought that you attach to that's not truth, because you take an untruth and you own it as truth and you build your life on that truth. And that is the original sin. It's the original missing of the mark. Somebody teaches you something, you grab a hold of it and say, that's my truth. Only good people get to heaven, bad people burn in hell. And then your whole life is managed around that belief system. One builds upon another, right? So if you believe this as truth, and then what our truths do is they just they affect our decision making, and they affect how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about others, right? So we have to really shine light into ourselves, and there's no judgment in that. It's clarity. Like, let's figure it out. So nothing about good people going to heaven and bad people going to hell is unconditional love. Like, we have to question our teachings. Love without condition is love without condition. And we're all the spiritual offspring of God. So why would God throw itself into a fiery furnace? Why? Like, I'm just going to stick my hand in the fire because uh, I didn't rise to enlightenment. That's not loving. That's not unconditional love at all. That's what people do to each other. So people hurt themselves and others when they don't know that they're God and they don't know the power within. So there are one of two sponsors to every thought and deed that we do. Every thought and deed is sponsored or backed up or comes out of love, and the other, fear. And if we look inside and say, am I feeling love in this situation? Is this motivated by love or is it motivated by fear? Then we begin to unravel that ball of yarn. So life has been granted to all of us freely. We're born with God, we are God, we die with God. You know, all spirits return to God because we are God. We don't find ourselves in life. We discover our God self again because we've forgotten. And we are surrounded by unconditional love and compassion and tenderness and wisdom as we seek. But we have to seek. We have to want it. We have to want a deeper relationship. We have to want to hear the conversation. So it is for all freely without condition. It does not require a special prayer or an initiation. All that does is make it us and them. There's no us and them with God, there's us, unity. We sit and listen. We notice where our heart is tight, where it's closed, where it's uncomfortable, where it's fearful. We're seen and known completely. Every thought, every emotion, every word, spoken or not, is known. There's nothing hidden. So go on in. You're already there. So, contrary to common belief, we're not judged by any of those thoughts, feelings. We learn, I don't like what I'm feeling. Then we get some inspiration, right? We're lovingly watched over all the time. We're interacted with all the time because we are part of the source. We weren't blown out here as orphans. We're part of the source. We are rediscovering outside of man and his mental mind who and what we are as individuals. So, you know, if you look at it this way, this is the 59th season of the life and times of the Pikester here. And the universe is front and center with popcorn and a cold one. Going, let's go. Where's she going next? Let me guide her along the way. This is exciting. This is an exciting life. And it's the same for each one of you. The engagement, the depth of the conversation is true as in all relationships. We have to want it. It's hard when we don't see because we've been taught to rely so much on our senses. We think we don't see because we want God to look like us and sit in front of us in a smock. But the universe is all around us and within us. That's the only way that no matter where we go, we're not alone. So, wanting more, learning to be still, learning to be quiet, just to be, is so that the human part of you can be quiet and step aside, and this true essence of your life inside of all the teaching, inside of all the life experience, inside of all of the things you love and things you don't like about yourself, that light can begin to come forward and glow and expand into the world around you. So spending time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, speak to me in a unique way in nature. Speak to me while in the dishes I'm doing. Like, just start to reach out in everything that you are doing, and you will begin to notice how chatty the universe is with you. And the other things will just not be important anymore. So I hope this helped. Helped what we're doing here and the walk that you're on, because we become our highest potential. That's the goal of the desire of the universe, is that each one of us reaches our highest expression, our highest potential of life force. And all we have to do is point ourselves in a direction, and we'll be supported. Opportunities will be there. We begin to live from within as though we're already there, and then the matter follows along. So was that helpful? Thanks, Mary Beth.
I think it's brought some clarity to a bunch of stuff. When you were talking about the 10 Commandments, I've never looked at it that way. And that's like mind blowing to me, or mind altering, or thought changing.
Thought changing.
Thought changing, not mind, right? It's
Yeah.
thought changing. But I mean, it's just interesting how we do need to challenge all that we've learned. Mm-hmm. And I'm learning that more and more, but that was just, so foundational. But what you're talking about is very freeing. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly freeing. And it's, I don't know, just the talk about, is it you're motivated by love or fear? I mean, that's simple, just so simple, but profound. And that resonates with me. Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know. It was Mary Beth is right. It was an awesome lesson.
The best teaching is simple.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And profound, because you could take it in.
And it is very freeing.
Yeah.
It really is. It's freeing. It's like all the other crap just can fall away because it's crap.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. And it really impressed on me also, because the whole heaven and hell thing, right? Like, I used to be like, I don't understand why you'd want to torture people forever. Like, I just kept skipping over that because I'm like, that doesn't resonate with me. But it cleared it all up. We created that nightmare. It doesn't make any sense. We are God. You're a person. Would you reject a piece of yourself? No. forever? Like, why would you, what's the benefit? There's no benefit to that. You know, you can't control people without fear or joy. I guess you could control people with joy. That's what God's trying to do. We're picking humanity goes for the fear. Audrey for president. Ha! There's too many skeletons rattling around in my closet. So, this week, well, going back to the last lesson, just sit and be still and pay attention to what's going on in there, and a really good visualization. And we'll do a meditation, we'll do the visualization, then you can do it on your own, because I know that everybody wants one little meditation. So get comfortable. Close your eyes.